The whole story of Maya archaeology and Mesoamerican archaeology, indeed American archaeology, almost took place there in a lot of senses.
Archaeologists analyzing a newly sequenced Maya skeleton have uncovered a genetic marker scientists say no modern human should possess. This discovery challenges long-held assumptions about ancient lineages, human evolution, and possible lost populations. The reports also suggest this marker appears nowhere else on Earth. What exactly did researchers find? And how could one skeleton rewrite human ancestry? Let's find out. A discovery that turns history upside down. The excavations started subtly, almost akin to any ordinary day at the office. A team of researchers were employing ground-penetrating radar beneath a pyramid site in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. The unexpected was not on their minds. This was familiar work for them, surveying the Earth, analyzing the strata, and searching for indications of old edifices. However, on this occasion, something peculiar materialized on their monitors. The tools displayed a flawless circular void beneath the ground. This flawless circle, resembling a full sphere, was positioned approximately 30 feet beneath the Earth. This discovery puzzled the group. The Maya individuals prized angles and straight edges in their architectural designs. They excelled in accuracy and geometric principles, yet their structures never featured perfect circles. Their constructions, residences, and artistic engravings adhered to balanced patterns, avoiding purely circular forms. Upon discovering the sphere beneath the pyramid, the team quickly realized that it was a unique and uncommon find. The structure did not align with their knowledge of Maya architecture, presenting itself as a mysterious mystery to be deciphered. The digging lasted for several months. Workers meticulously cleared the soil surrounding the mysterious sphere to prevent any harm. Every day, they diligently swept, chiseled, excavated, and gauged. As they delved deeper, a sense of anticipation heightened, hinting at an exceptional discovery. After an extended period of dedicated effort, they finally made it to the chamber's surface. It appeared to have been securely sealed, remaining undisturbed for over a millennium. Upon inserting their instruments and examining the air inside, they were taken aback by the readings they obtained. There was not a trace of contamination in the chamber, giving the impression that it had been flawlessly isolated from the passage of time. In the circular room, archaeologists made a discovery of 3 bodies strategically positioned in different corners along the curved wall. These were not typical Maya remains, as indicated by the surprising revelations in their skulls. Certain ancient Maya societies engaged in the process of skull shaping, which involved attaching boards to the heads of children while they were still malleable and in a state of formation. This technique typically resulted in skulls with a flat and angled appearance. However, the researchers observed a distinct variation in the skulls found in the chamber. These skulls possessed a smooth, elongated shape that was consistently extended in a manner not characteristic of any documented cultural practice in the area. Additionally, the size of the skulls was atypical, displaying a cranial capacity nearly 50% larger than that of an average human skull. The preservation of the bodies was surprisingly exceptional, with the soft tissue, hair, and fingernails still completely intact, giving the impression that they had been buried recently. According to carbon dating tests, the burials were dated back to around the year 950, coinciding with the peak of the Maya classical era. The research group was surprised by the unexpected turn of events that followed. The outcomes of DNA extraction from the bodies did not align with their previous experiences. Ancient genetic material typically deteriorates with age, making it difficult for researchers to piece together. However, in this case, the samples were unusually intact, appearing almost untouched by time. Later, a significant revelation occurred. Repeatedly, a unique DNA sequence, designated as X473, became evident. Dr. Sarah Chen, a geneticist, observed that this sequence was unlike any previously identified in the human genome. It appeared consistently in various locations on different chromosomes. Human DNA undergoes various natural alterations, errors, and modifications as it is passed down through generations. However, in this particular sequence, there were no such occurrences. It was flawless, matching exactly in all three individuals, even in the most minute aspects. This degree of similarity appeared to be intentional rather than occurring naturally. The team of researchers carefully examined all available databases. They analyzed the sequence against various human populations, primates, and diverse life forms documented in scientific resources. Unfortunately, they did not find any matches in their search. The scientists made an even more astonishing discovery. While human DNA typically contains information on bodily functions and growth, this peculiar sequence appeared to have different contents. It displayed patterns resembling mathematical equations, celestial navigation, and star charts. It appeared as though knowledge had been encoded directly into the DNA, utilizing it as a form of storage. The team had a realization at that point. The corpses they had discovered were not just regular humans. They seemed to be carefully crafted, intentionally shaped, and contained non-standard biological information. So what more was discovered from the DNA testing? Stay with us. The code hidden in human life. Upon receiving the comprehensive analysis of sequence X473, the research team was taken aback. Their previous assumptions regarding the growth, transformation, and development of DNA seemed inadequate in light of this new information. It appeared as though this particular sequence was deliberately crafted by someone rather than occurring naturally. The intricate design and precision of this sequence hinted at intentional manipulation rather than random occurrences in nature. Regular human DNA contains several segments that researchers refer to as vestigial elements. These components have no specific function or significance. They serve as remnants of past evolutionary stages. However, X473 stood out immediately due to its unique characteristics. Unlike typical DNA, it lacked extraneous parts, empty spaces, or arbitrary segments. Each minuscule section appeared purposeful, and every aspect seemed deliberately placed with precision. Next, an even more bizarre entity emerged. The volume of data contained within X473 challenged all existing scientific knowledge. Generally, a human genetic code consists of approximately 3 billion base pairs. This volume of information could be likened to filling approximately 200 books. The majority of this data is necessary for the maintenance of bodily functions, cell construction, and everyday operations. However, X473 harbored the amount of data typically found in 50 sizable books, compacted into a space so diminutive it should only be able to accommodate a few sentences. This level of compression surpassed the capabilities of any current technology. The bioinformatics team shifted their perspective on X473 from being just plain DNA to viewing it as a secret message. They utilized specialized software designed for pattern analysis, and the results they uncovered left them all speechless. Embedded within the sequence were intricate mathematical patterns, including the precise values of pi, the golden ratio, and extended sequences of prime numbers. However, the revelations didn't end there. The group also came across celestial maps. These charts aligned with the appearance of the sky in the time of the Maya civilization. They stumbled upon illustrations of the anatomical structure that would remain a mystery in Europe for generations. Chemical compositions for substances that are still being studied in modern medicine were also present. All of this information was intricately integrated within the DNA. Dr. Chen and his team enlisted the help of experts in secret codes to analyze the sequence meticulously. The cryptographers discovered something that added another level of complexity to the mystery. X473 was intricately constructed with multiple layers. At first glance, the sequence appeared to be basic instructions for a human body. However, upon closer inspection, it was revealed that hidden within the arrangement of the elements were additional layers of information. Someone seemed to have written a regular book, but ingeniously manipulated the initial letters of each word to unveil a separate narrative. However, in this case, the secret message was embedded within the basic elements of existence. This reflected a level of expertise and understanding that surpasses the abilities of contemporary scientists. The team became most concerned when they made a troubling discovery. Over time, DNA deteriorates due to exposure to light, chemicals, and natural decay. Typically, genetic material fades after just a few decades, even under optimal conditions. However, X473 did not conform to this norm. It possessed its own mechanism for repair. This intrinsic capability enabled it to correct errors, mend damage, and remain intact, making the sequence highly stable. As a result, the information could endure not only for decades but potentially for centuries. This genetic engineering went beyond simply being advanced. It was a unique design that could maintain and repair itself, ensuring its durability over time. This quality gave the genetic sequence an almost eternal feel. The researchers utilized computer modeling to analyze the time frame it would require for nature to naturally create a similar sequence. The results were concerning, indicating it would take millions of years even in optimal circumstances. However, the dating revealed contrasting information. X473 originated from the Maya classical era, a period when individuals had no awareness of the existence of DNA. The focus had shifted from debating the authenticity of the sequence to identifying its creator, understanding the method used, and discovering the reason behind concealing vast amounts of information within the fundamental components of human existence. But what does the world know about the Maya people? Let's find out. The Maya people. The world thought it knew. The ancient Maya civilization thrived in a vast area that now spans southeastern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, as well as parts of Honduras and El Salvador. This region encompasses the northern lowlands of the Yucatan Peninsula, the highlands of the Sierra Madre in Guatemala, Chiapas in Mexico, southern Guatemala, and the lush coastal lowlands along the Pacific. The modern-day descendants of the Maya, who are more than 6 million in number, still inhabit these lands. They speak a variety of over 28 Mayan languages and have maintained their ancestral territories. Many centuries prior to the emergence of their grand cities, the ancient Maya era witnessed the formation of small communities more than 2 millennia before Christ was born. The inhabitants discovered agriculture, which played a significant role in influencing the region's future. In the pre-classic era, spanning from approximately 2,000 years before Christ to around 250 years after Christ, sophisticated Maya civilizations started to develop. These early societies cultivated staple foods like maize, beans, squashes, and chili peppers that would later become essential components of their diet. Around 750 years prior to the birth of Christ, the initial Maya urban areas began to emerge. By 500 years before Christ, these urban areas were already showcasing substantial structures, such as temples adorned with intricate stucco patterns. The written language of hieroglyphs emerged in the area by the 3rd century before Christ. During the later years of the pre-classic era, large urban centers emerged in the Piton Basin. A significant city known as Caminaljuyu thrived in the highlands of Guatemala. The classic period began approximately 250 years after the time of Christ. This era was characterized by the construction of stone monuments displaying long count dates. It was also a time when the Maya civilization achieved remarkable advancements. Numerous city-states of the Maya civilization were linked by flourishing trade routes. In the flat regions, Tikal and Calakmul emerged as formidable competitors in a power struggle that greatly impacted regional politics. The influence of the central Mexican city of Teotihuacan played a significant role in shaping Maya politics during this era. In the 9th century, a period of great turmoil began. Numerous cities in the central area disintegrated and conflicts erupted, causing cities to be deserted and populations to migrate towards the north. This tumultuous era was succeeded by the post-classic period, which saw the rise of new influential hubs. Chichen Itza emerged as a formidable force in the north, while the Quiche Kingdom in the highlands of Guatemala experienced significant growth and expansion. In the 16th century, Spanish troops arrived in the area. After many battles, they finally captured the city of Nochpitan in 1697, marking the defeat of the last Maya city. In the classic era, authority was held by a king who was considered divine. The king was seen as the link between humans and the supernatural. Usually, royal authority was inherited by the eldest son, but there were exceptions. It was important for a potential king to excel in both warfare and leadership. The political landscape of the Maya civilization was influenced by various alliances and backing, which varied from city to city. During the late Classic period, the noble class expanded, weakening the king's dominance and power. The Maya were artistic creators who utilized a variety of materials in their artwork. They crafted delicate pieces from materials such as wood and stucco, while also sculpting items from stone and working with jade, obsidian, and high-quality ceramics. In addition to sculptures, they adorned their structures with colorful murals. The development of their urban centers followed a spontaneous and organic progression. Dominating the landscape were grand structures used for ceremonies and governance. Residences were scattered in a disorganized fashion around these central hubs. A network of pathways and elevated roads linked various sections of the city. Maya construction encompassed royal residences, stepped pyramids, sports venues, and edifices designed to align with celestial bodies. Maya aristocrats possessed the ability to both read and write, and they created a highly sophisticated written language that was the most advanced in the Americas prior to the arrival of Europeans. Their knowledge was documented in folded manuscripts, with only 3 known to exist today due to destruction by the Spanish. Additionally, their script could be found on stone monuments and decorated pottery. The Maya developed intricate calendars and employed a number system centered around the concept of 20. They utilized dots to represent individual units and bars to indicate multiples of 5, pioneering the concept of 0. This unique system enabled them to handle extensive numerical calculations, sustaining their use for over a millennium until their written language was suppressed during the Spanish conquest. But now they were about to discover a whole new part of these people. What more was exposed? Stick around. The lost line that never truly faded. Once the researchers grasped the significance of their discovery, their previous beliefs and conclusions started to collapse. The mysterious code known as X473 was not merely an artifact from the past, hidden in a tomb. Instead of disappearing along with the corpses interred for centuries, it remained active and continued to exist, subtly traversing through the ages, residing within the inhabitants of the Yucatan Peninsula. Dr. Chen and his team made a breakthrough in their research by expanding their investigation beyond the tomb remains to various Maya settlements. Their curiosity led them to seek out any traces of the mysterious sequence among modern-day individuals in the region. The revelations they uncovered resulted in a significant shift in the course of their project. In obscure, isolated rural areas nestled in lush greenery with towering mountains, researchers came across individuals who retained minuscule remnants of X473 in their genetic makeup. These remnants were incomplete, resembling fainter, diluted forms compared to those found in the tomb. Nevertheless, they were genuine. Additionally, to their astonishment, the density of these remnants varied depending on the proximity of the village to the ancient burial ground. The nearer the village was to the original tomb, the more pronounced the remnants seemed to be. The sequence seemed to have originated from that location and gradually extended over time, passed down through generations, becoming less prominent as time passed, yet always lingering in some form. However, the findings did not come to an end. Those individuals possessing the most potent components of X473 not only appeared distinct on documents, but also manifested unexpected impacts on their lives, skills, and well-being. In a small rural community located approximately 30 miles from the burial site, there resided an elderly woman by the name of Maria Itzamna, aged 67 years. The analysis of her blood sample revealed that she possessed almost 15% of the initial genetic code. Though seemingly insignificant, the consequences were quite substantial. Maria had an impeccable memory. She held within her memory the collective narrative of her village. Without omitting a single aspect, she could recount 12 generations of past events. Her mind retained the information about crop failures in 1847 and the families that departed during the drought of 1902. She could vividly recall the precise words spoken by her ancestor to depict a night illuminated by falling stars. Maria performed exceptionally well on memory tests administered by the team using regular measures. She demonstrated the ability to instantly recognize patterns and establish connections quicker than even seasoned professionals. Her memory seemed to function like a camera, capturing details specifically related to her cultural background and personal history, as though she had been inherently programmed to safeguard this knowledge deep within her. Maria was not the sole individual in this situation. During their exploration in Yucatan, the researchers encountered several individuals who displayed extraordinary talents that correlated with the presence of X473 in their genetic code. Many individuals had the ability to recall ancient tales with precision, while others demonstrated an innate understanding of complex mathematical concepts, despite lack of formal education in the subject. One young boy named Carlos Akbal possessed the impressive skill of being able to analyze the stars and perform complex calculations without the aid of modern instruments. When questioned about his mathematical aptitude, Carlos attributed his knowledge to his grandfather, who had passed down the ancient teachings to him. Their physical conditions also showed an astonishing phenomenon. In regions where the presence of X473 was prominent, very few individuals suffered from the common diseases prevalent just a short distance away. Instances of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer were rare among them. Their cell regeneration process was more effective. Their immune responses were faster. Their blood contained indicators associated with extended lifespan. They seemed to be shielded from the effects of getting older by an unseen force within the sequence. The most unexpected find was the narrative shared by the older generation. During the team's interviews with the elderly residents of these communities, a recurring story emerged. It was shared in hushed tones, passed down through generations. The seniors recounted the arrival of sky beings in the distant past who came to impart wisdom to their forefathers. Described as tall and fair-skinned, with elongated, sleek heads, these visitors possessed advanced knowledge of medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. According to the tales, these celestial mentors selected specific families to entrust with valuable knowledge, urging them to safeguard it for future generations. For a long time, scholars did not take these tales seriously and deemed them as mere myths. However, recent genetic findings have revealed a compelling connection that cannot be overlooked. The individuals residing in these communities were not only possessing unique genetic markers, but they also harbored segments of the identical engineered genetic code discovered in the tomb. They were confirmed to be the direct descendants of the elusive originator behind the creation of X473. The question now was simple, yet enormous. If these descendants were still here, still carrying pieces of this strange and ancient sequence, what knowledge were they meant to protect? And why was it so important that it survive? A message hidden in stone. The answer that the team was seeking was eventually found in a nearby smaller chamber. This additional space was uncovered nearly 3 weeks following the initial tomb discovery. Utilizing the same ground-penetrating radar as before, the excavation team located another vacant circular area around 50 feet from the tomb. Although smaller in size at only 10 feet wide, this new chamber shared the same spherical shape as the first one. Upon entering the chamber by breaking through a stone wall, the team was astonished by what they encountered. It was unlike anything they had ever learned about Maya history or ancient technology. The presence of an advanced machine in a time when the Maya only used stone tools and simple copper was perplexing. The machine utilized concepts like electricity, magnetism, and electromagnetic waves, which were completely foreign to the Maya civilization. Even modern scientists were amazed by the complexity and sophistication of the machine found inside the chamber. The group advanced cautiously, inspecting each section of the chamber carefully before approaching the device. The impeccable geometry of the space, the sleek surfaces, and the unfamiliar substances indicated a high level of technical skill surpassing that typically associated with the ancient Maya civilization. It was evident that the individuals responsible for constructing this device possessed a deep understanding of their craft. Dr. Chen's team experienced a significant breakthrough when they conducted a frequency test on the mysterious X473 DNA sequences found in the bodies in the initial tomb. Each DNA sequence possesses a resonant frequency which can be likened to a subtle electromagnetic voice that aligns with the structure of the molecule. Typically, this frequency is considered insignificant and is only noted for scientific purposes, rarely serving any practical function. The X473 sequence stood out due to its distinct resonant frequency of exactly 582 Hz, neither more nor less. While testing the equipment in a separate chamber, The team observed that it was emitting the precise frequency consistently. This was not a random occurrence or simply background noise. It was a deliberate and meaningful signal. The atmosphere in the room became calm as the group comprehended the significance of what they were seeing. The device was not just a historic artifact, it was a mechanism for triggering genetic changes. Its purpose was to communicate with the modified DNA discovered in the tomb. It was intended to rouse a dormant entity within it. In order to experiment with this theory, they required an individual with identical DNA. Maria Itzamna, a reserved youth from a neighboring community, stepped forward as a volunteer. She was a lineal descendant of the individuals interred in the grave and possessed the X473 sequence. The group led Maria into the chamber and positioned her next to the device. They attached her to basic sensors to monitor her respiration, pulse, and brainwaves. The chamber filled with a tranquil silence as the machine softly buzzed and emitted a consistent frequency of 528 Hz. The outcomes were immediate. Maria's brain activity surged within moments. The regions of the brain associated with memory displayed enhanced brightness on the monitors. Her responses to basic questions became more rapid and lucid upon request from the team. As they administered brief assessments, her scores surged by nearly 30%. Unexpectedly, an even more astonishing event occurred next. Maria began discussing ancient events in a composed manner, claiming she had no prior knowledge of them. She recounted tales that predated the oral history of her village by multiple generations, speaking as though she had personally experienced them. When the researchers examined other offspring, a similar phenomenon occurred. Individuals with formidable recollections experienced a sudden improvement in memory. Those knowledgeable in mathematics effortlessly tackled complex problems that even sophisticated computers found challenging. The device was not altering them. Instead, it was unveiling a hidden potential that had been dormant within them. The discovery of ancient Maya texts at various archaeological sites marked a significant advancement in research. These texts made reference to instruments resembling the device found in the chamber, known as star voice stones. According to the Maya, these stones were believed to unlock secret knowledge within specific families. The texts detailed elaborate rituals involving the stones to unlock the ancient wisdom bestowed upon individuals by celestial beings in the distant past. The machine was determined to have been constructed around the year 950 CE based on carbon dating analysis. However, the advanced technology present in the machine seemed to suggest a future time frame over 1,000 years beyond the burial period. Gradually, the group started grasping the reality. This location was more than just a burial site. It served as a comprehensive safeguarding mechanism. It shielded both the individuals possessing modified DNA and the apparatus required to unleash their powers. Centuries ago, an individual foresaw the possibility of crucial information being wiped out by a calamity. As a precaution, they embedded the information within human vessels. Subsequently, they invented a contrivance capable of revealing that information to the chosen few who stumbled upon it. When history opens its eyes, the meaning of this discovery is huge, and it pulls apart everything we once believed about ancient civilizations. For the longest time, modern science taught that genetic engineering only began in the 1970s. Back then, people needed special microscopes, computers, and complex tools to change DNA. These tools took many centuries to invent, but what the team found in the Maya chamber tells a different story, a story that does not fit the old timeline at all. Long ago, the Maya worked with stone tools, simple copper, and early metal pieces. They had no electricity and no microscopes. Their strongest knowledge was in counting and studying the stars. Yet the X473 DNA sequence is more advanced than anything our modern labs can create today. It can store information better, correct errors on its own, and stay protected for a very long time. That alone left the scientists shocked. Carbon dating proved one thing clearly. The people buried in the tomb passed away around the year 950 CE. The strange device found in the nearby room came from that same time. The changes in their DNA were already present when they were laid in the ground. This means someone with advanced knowledge, far beyond anything humans had back then, was working in Central America during the height of Maya life. Someone understood DNA so well that they created human carriers who could protect knowledge for hundreds of years. One idea rises from all this, and it is both exciting and unsettling. The Maya did not create this technology by themselves. They must have received it from an intelligence with deeper scientific skills. The sky mentors told in Maya stories may not have been myths at all. They might have been real beings with tools and knowledge far beyond our understanding. What makes this discovery even more surprising is what the scientists saw in people living today. The descendants still carry the X473 sequence, even after more than 1,000 years. It still gives them strong memory, sharp thinking, and graceful coordination. This shows that human potential is much greater than we ever imagined. The Sky Mentors did not simply visit and leave. Their touch remains alive in human blood today. There is still one mystery that no one can explain. It seems something terrible once threatened the keepers of this knowledge. Fearing it would be lost, they hid it inside living bloodlines so no disaster could destroy it. Fire could not burn it, war could not erase it, and time could not bury it. What do you think about the Mayan bloodline? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more of these discovery videos. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.